Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we are checking out a brand new chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 266. Last time we left off, Yuji basically was given like this whole second chance to Sukuna, trying to get him to humanize him, trying to connect, and Sukuna do that in his face. And then Yuji just hit him with a yo, I can kill you. He just gave him the ultimatum, and which honestly crazy. So I definitely suggest checking out my last review of that and see my thoughts on it. But it's a super crazy chapter. But it was a break that happened, so there wasn't really any JJK content. And now we got chapter 266, which is like I believe the penultimate chapter to the Shinjuku Showdown arc. So we're gonna get right into it. If you want to see much of this stuff, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that stuff. All right, let's get right into this. So we are we got new scenes. The last time we seen there, we got Yuji and Megumi talking, and Megumi telling him that this is enough, and Megumi just basically breaking down what he wanted to do, what his goal was, and Megumi wanted to create a world where his sister Sukumi wouldn't have to suffer needlessly, or at the very least, he wanted to preserve their fragile lives as much as they possibly could. And honestly, both of them have been struggling ever since like they were kids. Their parents kind of like dipped out on them, to be honest. Which it's honestly kind of crazy that they even happened to them. So next page, Megumi says, describes like the life that he wanted for him and his sister, eating home cooked meals, watching sunbeams fall onto their hang laundry, seeing her off as she walks beside someone like Itadori. And I wonder if Megumi would have been okay with like kind of like fantasize or dream of like Yuji like marrying like his sister, like he could see like them being like married or stuff like that, which would kind of be a nice little reality, or not reality, like a nice little fantasy, sort of like with like Junpei in the beginning. But this would have been Megumi's like true happiness to him, but he had enough, and so which completely understands like. Because when Yuji met up with them in like several chapters in the beginning, and I know a lot of people were like super like upset that Megumi kind of like just sulked and sulked further, and didn't like he refused to get back up and fight. And I know a lot of people were like upset about that, but now we're getting like a little bit of like explanation here. Now it's Yuji's turn to talk here, and he said that early on his grandpa when his grandpa first got sick with lung cancer, he was offered a rough treatment that would have come with some strong side effects, but he turned it down. I know with cancer that treatment is like terrible, so I wouldn't be surprised that anybody turned it down. Maybe he thought his body was strong enough even without the treatment. Every so often I hear about euthanasia, but that didn't seem right. It felt like someone else's choice. Deep down, I always felt distant, unrelated. I figured it must suck for them. I'd be fine. Ever since coming to Jujutsu High, I've been flooded with all these awful thoughts, and when I think about this lasting forever, I find myself able to empathize with my grandpa and with anyone faced with a helpless situation. That's why I can't tell you to keep living. And this is very interesting. This man Yuji, usually in these shonen like mangas, the main character is always like trying to be the hope, like, yeah, you gotta live. But Yuji, like everything he's been through, he doesn't want to like invalidate Megumi's like feelings, because like Megumi's like he's got his dreams ripped out from him, and just telling him to suck it up wouldn't help. And I know this, and it's kind of interesting because of the fan base. Some of the people in the fan base, I want to say all, are kind of telling like Megumi should just suck it up and like try to fight because they need his help. But this man Yuji is his best friend and saying, "Look, man, I can't tell you to keep on living. I get it. That shit sucks." Now we get back to reality. I feel like this is from the Eminem song. We get Sukuna in his hand error form, no longer in this Sukuna Yuji form, using hollow wicker basket. Now he's got all 4 of his arms regenerated. We get this nice showdown panel of them walking up against each other in the snow, and like a doubles back-to-back panel of like Yuji and Sukuna walking up against each other like badasses. Sukuna says that he uses Gojo's method to reset his burnout technique within the domain, but the risk is too great with the after effects of unlimited void persisting. So that man Gojo still causing problems. That was the GOAT. That's why he's the strongest. In contrast to a domain where one actualizes a mental image, the output required for techniques like hollow wicker basket or simple domain is little. It allows a sorcerer to buy time until the sure hit technique imbued within a domain hits them, but eventually, without fail, they will be overpowered. Simple domain and hollow wicker basket is just the buy time. It's not meant to completely prevent a sure hit attack. However, Sukuna is able to supplement that output by maintaining the hand sign even after hollow wicker basket's activation. This allows him to continue fighting without being overpowered by his name. So because Sukuna has 4 hands and like he keeps this hand sign, he can still have the basket after activation and still attack. Just how good of a sorcerer he is. Now we get this nice little panel with like the birds like flying, and this kind of like makes me excited for like when this would be animated. You get like the whole slow motion walking, and then it's like really quiet, and then you see like the birds fly, and that's when all shit hits loose. And that's exactly what happens in this next page when Yuji and Sukuna just attack each other. Sukuna coming out with his right leg, and Yuji catches it, chops his leg up. I'm not exactly sure what happens here. It looks like Sukuna took his leg away, and then he elbows Yuji, and then as Yuji is like flying away, Sukuna comes in with a punch or something like that. I couldn't really tell. And then Sukuna comes out with a right, punches the shit out of Yuji, knocks him away, flying. It looks like they're like, I feel like they're still sort of in the dimension, the phenomenon dimension, whatever you want to call it, that Yuji brought them both in. Because this is a completely different area, it seems like. But yeah, they and because it looks like this man Yuji's been knocked over somewhere else. And then after they both land, Sukuna expresses that he's surprised that like who would have figured that he would be being looked down on would fill him with such ire, such hatred, and that being pity would rouse such hate in him. And so it's interesting that he's not like a typical villain where he's just denying it. It's just interesting that he learned something new about him. And I wonder if Sukuna will eventually acknowledge Yuji near the end. I was like, alright, you actually did something, man. You actually pulled through. I said, what fun it would be for every other human to reap the consequences of your actions. And then you see this man Yuji just pissed off. Then we get another scene change with a young Megumi, and if you don't remember, this is the same pose young Megumi looked at with Gojo, and it's nice to see like a clean version of this, like a more refined version from like the original one. But yeah, young Megumi is asking what's with that face, and it looks like it's Yuji that instead of Gojo. And Yuji is saying like, you know, it's just gonna be so lonely without him, Fushiguro. And he's like, he crying, and so maybe it's gonna be the end of like Megumi's gonna be the end of Megumi. And it's interesting that they show this like right after Sukuna says this, and I think it's just one of the things that's just Yuji just resolving that, yeah, I'm gonna have to kill him. I'm gonna have to kill him. Because this man's going to kill everybody. I'm going to have to get him away. And in the beginning, Yuji was saying that, yeah, he definitely didn't want to. He can't tell him to like live. He completely understands because he gets it. Because like all the experiences that he went through. And then we see my boy Megumi wake up with the shadows, and Sukuna says his 10 shadow technique stopped functioning after Maraga was destroyed, and that this has to be Megumi's. His soul was submerged in the bath, and yet the breath dismantles, breathe new life into it. Yeah, let's go. Man, Megumi, he's back. All he needs is his friend talking to him to let him know that he's there for him. Megumi is back. He's back. And then we got Yuji with the surprise punch. And Yuji's like surprised, and I really think, yeah, and this just leads me to believe in like this page that, you know, Yuji really was like, after Sukuna had said this, like he's really going to be resolved to like, yeah, I'm gonna have to kill him. Maybe Megumi's not gonna come back, and then Megumi pulls this out. Let's go. It's like this series is literally jumping. I mean, it's more than just jumping, but I love the fact that, you know, the teams, the characters, side characters that's like sidelined, they're still like relevant, and they still like have affect the story. And that's one of the things I love about JJK. And then as we can see with, you know, the happiness that and the relief that Yuji feels after seeing Megumi fighting back, he just charges in, and then just do like a stand rush against Sukuna. And I don't know exactly what happens here. It looks like Sukuna like dashes away. He's like, fuck that shit. And Yuji grabs Sukuna's head, while Sukuna grabs Yuji's head, and they just start wailing on each other, which is just so crazy. And just one of the things that symbolizes like how similar they are. And then Yuji gets the final blow that, you know, does some damage to Sukuna. Sukuna says his strikes have an effect I can't overcome with reverse curse technique. Talk about the soul punchers. He'll take hollow wicker basket and shatter it. And Yuji prepares for a punch. And then we see the dismantle, and this is Sukuna's dismantle image. And so we see that Yuji's arm got ripped apart. And I thought, and this was like the more interesting part, that I thought this was like Yuji's arm like transformed like after he ate like the soul painting. I thought this was like, you know, Yuji's arm now for him in the future. But it turns out this is a curse tool, which is crazy. It's just another thing that Yuji has that people were saying that he never had. So Yuji now has a curse tool. I wonder what the name of the curse tool would be. So Yuji notices that Sukuna's technique recovers, so he uses Gojo Sensei's technique, and then he reset his burnt out technique. And Sukuna pulls out his hand sign to use the new Malevolent Shrine domain expansion. Then Sukuna notices that Yuji is missing 2 fucking fingers. And so what the fuck could that mean? So this next page, we see in the staircase, and we see Sukuna's finger there. And what does this mean? Next week, the decisive trap battle in Shinjuku reaches its climax. Weekly Shonen Jump cover, center color spread. And chapter 2 says, so no break. Great. no break, no break. But this was a pretty good chapter. Um, this was a pretty good chapter. I was expecting it to all end on this chapter. Um, but it looks like it's setting up something. This chapter definitely pulled a lot of mystery, especially with the second to last page with Yuji's fingers missing. And I know a lot of people are like theorizing that uh, that Yuji gave up his fingers to Rika for Yuta to eat, so that he can get cleave. But the cleave that Yuta didn't really seem like it didn't really seem like Yuji's. It seemed more like what you call it, Sukuna's cleave. I may have to like check back to see. Um, so but trying to figure out what they're trying to do here, like what the fuck is like you see Sukuna's finger, like one of his final fingers, like wrapped up in like a string. And I've seen one person say that this could be a theory, that a way for like Nobara to be returning, and after like looking at that theory, I find it like pretty interesting, because you know when the last chapter 265, it was like all but confirmed that Nobara is like dead, but after reading the theory, it's possible that she's still alive. And the reason why is that, you know, Nobara's resonance ability is kind of like broken. Like all she needs is like a piece of the person in order to use resonance to like attack them. And what you call it? Yeah, and then Yuji thinking that she is dead. And then she not actually being dead makes sense, because we know that in the previous chapter, right before Todo shows up, that they have been hiding their plans from Yuji, just in case that no information is leaked from him to Sukuna. And so it's definitely possible that happened. And you know, it just makes me think back to when Yuji and Megumi was talking about Nobara after the Shibuya arc, and they were kind of looking grim. So so maybe she was still like, you know, it still was looking grim. Maybe she's still in like surgery or something like that. But like it was just, there's like no progress or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Nobara's that. Are Nobara fans? Are we gonna be Gojo fans? Are we gonna be like it's still possible for her to come back? I don't know. I'm here for it. I mean, I'm fine either way. I believe Nobara dying in Shibuya is a great point, because that's like you know, it's thematically good for like Yuji's character development. But if she's come back, bruh, that's so crazy. And the reason why I don't feel like that would be like an ass pull is because in a recent interview that Gege did, he said that the reason why he made Yuji the type of character he is, Yuji is basically the window for the viewer. And so if something explained to Yuji, like the rules of the calling games, or explained to him, and he says, well, that doesn't make any sense, we're supposed to feel that the same way or something like that. So yeah, but no, I like this chapter. I like this chapter. You know, definitely kudos and like the talk between Yuji and Megumi, where like, you know, Megumi is trying to tell him like what he dreamed to do, but now all that's been ripped away, and then Yuji, like, you know, agreeing with him, like he gets it, and like he's not going to like stop him. He's not going to like, you know, stop him, or like he understands why he's going to do it. And you know, Yuji almost is like, yo, I'm going to have to kill your body. and no, this is so crazy, because like in the last chapter, this man Yuji was telling you, like cold-blooded stare, telling this man Sukuna, yo, I can kill you. Is that just release Megumi and I'll spare your life. And then And then he comes to Megumi here is that it's gonna be so lonely without you. He's still confident that he can kill you, Sukuna. And that's what I like about him. That's what I like. He's being confident. I like it. But overall, this is a great chapter. Super great. This is like one of like the greatest series that like I've ever read. Like this is A tier, and I guess I should like make a video about my thoughts of JJK. Or once the final chapter come out, make like a video on like my thoughts on Shinjuku art, like in total. I'd probably do like a reread of it. But that's it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.